Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics.
We're back. And we're back on The Truth, Lies, and Politics here on Spirit TV. And we are having a conversation around the NRM party primaries that were concluded for the flag bearers that were concluded last Thursday. And in studio I have Councillor Ronald Tugume, who ran for MP Machindie and came second. There's a petition to the tribunal in the NRM offices. We also have Mr. Asumano Daka, the Secretary General, NEED Party, and we have Mr. Charles Romushana, who is a political analyst and also former spy, on the show. Now, we were having Councillor Ronald Tugume, adding to the point that we left off from, the criminality point that Mr. Charles Romushana had raised, that the president had mentioned had happened, and he had mentioned that once there is criminality, it ceases being a party case but a state issue. Please take it on from there.
Thank you so much, Eki. And yes, I was stressing the point that we have to be systematic in the way we look at issues, because from Mr. Romushana's submission, he was trying to make it look like if people have committed crime, and then the president assigns the task to the state apparatus, which is actually constitutionally mandated to handle crime, it becomes an issue of NRM not being, doing its job and everything. But let's separate the two. In the primaries, we had a very, very successful election.
Why do
I say that? NRM is a mass party. We had elections at every polling station in this country. Every single polling station in this country, NRM had an election.
Right.
Why do I say it was successful? There is no polling station that didn't attempt to have an election. I want to applaud the Electoral Commission of NRM this time round. All logistics were ready. The polling stations were manned. There was human resource at every polling station. There were polling station orderlies. The only problem that happened in this election was caused by the candidates and the polling officials. And that is where I want us to concentrate.
There were issues though where polling, the agents and all, the voting started way later.
That may not be an issue of logistics or polling agents. Like I told you, candidates, I'll give you a personal example. In Makinje West, we have a parish called Chibuye 2. We know the polling stations where the people know where they vote from always. And they have been voting from there for those previous elections which I told you about.
Yes.
But because of the machinations of that criminality, we're talking about candidates working with election officials, changed the polling areas. So people come to point A expecting to find there a polling station. And they wait 1 hour, 2 hours, only to be told, they have voted from so-and-so's compound. Now, that is not a problem that the Electoral Commission was not ready or prepared. It is a problem of the presiding officer and the candidates. You understand? So people were here waiting to vote, yet voting is being conducted in
connived with the Electoral Commission officer.
Yes. In my area, that happened. 4 polling stations, their locations were changed in the morning. So by the time people realized that the polling stations are not the usual ones they know, when they went to the new places, they told them we have finished voting.
Don't they first gazette those polling
Those
stations?
places are known. I've told you we conducted structural elections there. We conducted LOC's flag bearers there. We conducted youth elections there. They are known. And that's where people converged in the morning.
Yes.
So they thought maybe the election officials are late. But the actual fact was that the election officials had connived with certain candidates to avoid an embarrass, avoid. Mr. Daka, it is good manners to listen. If you're the Secretary General of this new pattern, you don't want to listen, the party is going to die. You have to listen to people.
You are leaving.
You have to listen to people. So, if a party can conduct elections nationwide, and you ask whether it's leaving, then I think we might be in the wrong place. Now, I want us to concentrate on the actual gist.
All right.
I don't want this politics of speaking against NRM. Let's discuss the elections in NRM. Forget your issues with NRM. Now let's just look at the quality. Yes. Of the election. Right. And I'm trying to be as candid as possible and objective as possible. And I'm telling you that there were scores in this election. One was that it happened. Two, we had elections at every polling station in this country. Materials were there, DRA forms were there, registries, the register books were there, the polling agents were there. That is a score. Now, the challenge, where did the problems come from?
One you've mentioned.
One I've told you the problem was the candidates.
Okay.
Some candidates don't have the integrity to contest in a free and fair election.
Okay.
They came to an election with sinister motives of rigging the election. That's the right word. Candidates candidates specifically came to the race counting on rigging it, yes, not winning it. And those ones engaged the Electoral Commission officials, that I'm talking about, the presiding officers, the parish supervisors, the sub-county supervisors, and the district election officials. Yes. And you have seen some have already been taken on by the state institutions that are responsible for people who commit crime.
All right.
Now, the other thing that caused us problems was the nature of voting, which Mr. Romushana talked about. And I want to discuss that, whereas for him he tried to allude it to some other agenda. For me, I want to discuss its merits and demerits as a polling method. Because you see, polling has types. Secret ballot is one of them. Lining up is one of them. You understand? Picking what they call electoral colleges is another one. There are so many ways of.
Didn't we opt for this one because
now I want to give you the merits. Now I want to give you the merits. Lining up has its merits and demerits. One of them, it is cheap.
Okay.
Because as a party, maybe it may not be cost effective for us to produce ballot papers. And the buckets and the ballot boxes and the logistics of transporting all these resources. So financially, it is a cheaper option.
Okay.
Two, it is fast. You line up, you finish, you go. Vis-a-vis the other one where you start in the morning and have to wait up to the evening. It is also expected to be very transparent. because everybody knows the number there and then. That is what you know.
Unfortunately, in most places, that wasn't the issue. Somebody counted up to 30, skipped to 50.
Yes.
Continue.
Yes. Now that one, the people there must be in cahoots
with what was happening.
Yes, because you are expected to be there, that as they count, you are also tallying. 1, 2, 3, you are listening. So yes, if somebody jumps from 30 to 50, then the people who are being counted are also in cahoots with that wrong tabulation.
All right.
Now the downside is that it can be easily disrupted.
Yes.
Like I experienced in one of my polling stations. I have a polling station called Lusaka in Makindye 1. Even the videos are there. The line had formed very well, very beautifully long. Person holding picture of one candidate, and we were 4 in this race, but at most polling stations we had only two contestants. So my person was holding the picture, smiling. Line was very long. Then the other, my colleague had about 4 people in her line. Out of the blue, somebody just came running and kicked one of the people in the line. A real kick, you know, this jumped and kicked, and the fellow fell down, and that was it. that election ended there. And but the funny bit is that later on a DR form came declaring 130 something votes for my opponent. But what I'm trying to show you, the downside of using lines, it can easily be disrupted, and once people scatter, you leave the presiding officer to do as they please. Another thing is that it denies people the opportunity to vote, whereas taking a short time as lining is okay, but for example, this vote was on a working day. So when you use the ballot box, somebody can say, let me go and vote and go to work. Another one can say, let me go and work and come and vote. But with the lining, it happens in a fixed time. So if somebody's work schedule or commitments, whatever they are, do not fit within that time, you have disenfranchised that person. And as you realize, as the chairman of the party rightly said, the turn-up was low.
Yes.
And that's because it was on a working day and the voting time was fixed.
Okay.
Yeah. So it has also that downside, that it denies other people from voting. But also the other problem we have with lining up, it is very hard for the election officials to control it.
In what sense? I thought they just make a line.
Yeah, you see now human beings, you see you're dealing with human beings. You may, if let's imagine you have 70 people in the line. By the time you reach number 35, maybe number 1 has now become the last person in the line. Sometimes people even cross.
Yes.
They want to vote this way, but when they see this line is long, they say, I will not be the one to lose alone, and they come. And when they come, so it becomes difficult for the polling officials to control this kind of voting. So it has that sweet and sour thing. But it's not that, like Mr. Romoshana says, it is a process of political cohesion and all this.
On that note, I would like us to watch.
I don't think that's what I said.
Did
I say that?
Yes, you said that Mr. Museveni uses lines.
Using simple English.
Yeah, you said Mr. Museveni uses these lines because he wants political cohesion. That's what you said. They can play for you you're on record,
what
sir.
Do you understand by
you're on record. So, and I'm also telling you that that's not the reason why we use lines.
Not for political cohesion.
You said it's for transparency.
Yeah.
And the purpose of transparency is to create cohesion.
All right. Can we have a call from one of our members, one of the people who experienced, this election? Very short, in about 5 minutes. We have, yes, we have the assistant RCC, yes, coming in live from Arua. Good evening, sir. That is Mr. Job Matua. How are you doing, sir?
Good evening, my Onachi Paul Ekuruti Eki, and good evening, other members in the studio, and good evening, countrymen and women.
All right. Well, yes, I hope they're clear and make sure we're not hearing you on that. But could you, in about 3 or 4 minutes, just give us your experience with what happened in the NRM party primaries in Arua?
Thank you very much. Paul, are you hearing me very well?
Now we can hear you clearly.
I had greeted you, Paul Eki Ekurut. I had greeted Charles Romusana Senior and the other members there, and I had greeted countrymen and women. Are you now hearing me very well?
Yes, we can.
Now, the first forward, I congratulate the National Resistance Movement Organization for conducting a nationwide elections, in fact, in a more polling stations than the National Electoral Commission, headed by Justice Simon Biava Kamabugeni does. NRM conducted elections in over 72,000 villages. I want to correct the other person who had just spoken that, in fact, for Electoral Commission, it does not conduct election in all the villages, but for NRM, it conducted election in more than 72,000 polling stations. We say congratulations. I say thank you, Dr. Tanga Odoi, my brother, my good friend. I say thank you, Right Honorable Richard Todong, and I say thank you, Party Chairman President Yoweri Museveni, and the entire fraternity of NRM. Second, to the issue. Elections have become a very contentious issue everywhere in the world. Democracy is evolving everywhere in the world, including in the United States of America, that is rated as the classic or premier example of democracy in the world. Now, because of the contention, we have seen some level of absurdities and vulgarities, majorly by people who were unprepared, who want to win by crooks and everything. There are people who even want to win by active transport where possible, or by osmosis or diffusion. Now, these individuals, we are trying to vulgarize the election. We cannot base on those vulgarities to pass a blanket conclusion that NRM does not know how to conduct election. To me, NRM did a much better election than even the election conducted by Justice Simon Biabakama in 2021. Now, for the case of Arua City, we had the 4 divisions, including the woman MP if you add it. We have Arua City Aivu Division East, this on the eastern side of the city. We had Aivu Division West, which is on the western side of the city at the border with the DRC. Then we had the Central Division. Then we had one for the woman MOP. Here are the results. Engineer Tio Williams emerged the winner in Aivu East Division, and I want to thank the people in Aivu East Division for choosing Engineer Tio, because the campaign is between the Honorable Feta Joffrey, the incumbent, and the Honorable Bakokoba Korozoe, sister, the former Minister for Gender, Labor and Social Development, had gone too toxic. The abuses were too deep. Some of the abuses I had never had in a normal Lugbara language. I was learning from them. So the voters did good to pick a neutral person to unite back Aivu Division East. In Aivu Division West, Madame Fiona Onjima, emerged as the winner. She defeated the incumbent MOP Honorable Lema Tia John and the former MOP for Aivu Division, Honorable Atiko Bernard. Then for Central Division, Honorable Atima Jackson Lee Booty, the incumbent, defeated Dr. Demo Ronalde, who has been one of the strongest candidates in the race. Then for woman MP, the Honorable Osoru Morris, the incumbent, defeated 2 other candidates, that's the Daphne Daza and the Princess Seila Obia. And I can tell you, we are glad with the flag bearers and the elections here. We are good. The small cases, we have asked the loser to go and petition the tribunal to arbitrate, because that is the only way we can have election disputes arbitrated. Then, besides that, I want to say something. Yes. I want to say something, Paul, if you can allow me.
Okay, very quickly.
National Resistance Movement Organization, established on the 4 ideological pillars of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy, has proved over time that it can govern this country better. And the evidence we have gotten from the election that we are able to conduct in more than 72,000 polling stations indicates that NRM is here to lead Uganda for more years. And I want to remind my other brothers and sisters in the so-called opposition, many of which are disguised, because I know for a fact that a number of them work with NRM, should not think that they are going to change government any soon. A revolutionary party cannot negotiate itself out of power. We do no justice to anybody, or we do no injustice to anybody by trying to remain in power, governing Uganda very well. Now we have stability, political stability in the country for the first time. Paul Ekurut Eki, from 1962 to 1986, Uganda had about 10 presidents. If you added those who were in the presidential commission, there was a time here in Uganda we could not even have one person as the president. Uganda had to have a commission, a committee of people who called themselves presidency and ruled in turn. Now, we have spent nearly 40 years with one president. That is stability. We now have peace and security from border to border. The GDP has grown from a paltry 3.9 billion US dollars in 1986 to now 61.3 billion US dollars in 2024, and we are looking forward to pushing the GDP to 500 billion US dollars by 2040, and consequently moving the Ugandan economy from peasant to modern and prosperous state. Those are the three metamorphic stages of the growth of society. Society grows from peasant, modern is the second stage, to prosperous stage, called Ekruti Eki.
Yes. Mr. Matua,
Yes.
Mr. Daka just wanted to say something before you continue.
So you can continue, you can finish it.
But
What I wanted to tell Mr. Matua, I think Mr. Matua is the worst representative to anybody to speak on behalf of people from West Nile.
Why do you think so?
From Arua to Nebi, or Nebi to Arua, is 71 kilometers. Ordinarily, that would be 40 minutes drive ordinarily. But you take 3 hours because of the state of the road. When you get to Nebi and you want to go, I have been debating to go to Arua because I go nearly every week. But because of the road alone, you may think you are not in Uganda. Is that really what West Nile should be? Mr. Matua should be ashamed to mention.
Can I answer my wonderful brother here? Can I answer him?
Growing a country.
All right, Mr. Matua, quickly.
Can I answer my wonderful brother here?
Proceed with our conversation.
Mr. Paul Eki. Can I respond?
Please go ahead.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank my brother for asking me that question. I want to inform him that it took 2 weeks for people from Western Nile to reach Kampala. 2 weeks, my brother. The journey from Arua to Karuma was hell. We spent more than a week moving there. Okay. It is the government of National Resistance Movement that constructed the road from Karuma to Arua, now to Oraba. Now, I want to tell you that there was a problem. When the contractor was doing the work, the section from Arua to Nebi, some of our own brothers and sisters who were in a good position in this area went and asked for bribes from the contractor. The contractor gave the bribes and compromised the quality of the road. Today, the bad state of the section of the road from Arua to Nebi is as a result of our own people who went lobbied for bribes and they were given. Now our banks are being broken because of their corruption. That one don't blame the government. And I want to also inform you that the government is already redoing that work. From Oluyo to Pakwach is under construction, and from Pakwach to Nebi is done, and the same contractor is continuing up to Arua City. It is therefore very false to mislead the people of Uganda that actually the government has abandoned them. It is the government of NRM which has constructed the road. It is the same government of NRM that
from Mr. Matua. But thank you very much, Mr. Matua, for your point. I will now switch to the gentleman in studio, and I want to actually say these elections that we have had, NRM, I know you may have had, but we will need to. These elections in the party primaries, are they a reflection of what we should be expecting in the 2026 general elections? I know that Charles says they will not, he believes they will not take place, but that is another conversation. But are your thoughts, all right? I will start with Mr. Odaka. You know, is this a reflection of what we are going to see in 2026 general elections, if the ruling party handling its internal politics? Yes.
Yeah, but you see, that question is a boring question, and you normally don't ask boring questions. You see, you cannot ask NRM. You can't ask that. Is it a reflection of what we are going to have? Since NRA started holding anything called election or selection in this country, has it been, even when they were alone, as he wants to call it, the movement system? Charles here is a specimen.
Yes.
His constituency, where he went as a young man, very harmless, contesting, but he will tell Ugandans the brutalities he suffered. That's way back in CA, and that was CA. You get it? 96. A moment. Yes, he was. You know, it was, killing.
Yes.
I'm sure he lost supporters. Now, that's 96. We came to 201.
Yes.
You remember the CAP, the Kalangala Action Plan. I have a neighbor in Tororo. By then I was in S3. The guy was cooking for us food near the school. So Kalangala Action Plan was, they used to do their band. This guy moves out.
Right.
I don't know with excitement. I don't know what he said. He was hit here, and the guy died. That one I'm an eyewitness. So the kind of violence now, from 2001 to 2006, other form of violence, to the most recent one. So what do you think is that NRM has not shown that they are capable of doing? What bad things that haven't they proved that they can do, that you think that these ones that they did, is the only sign? There was sign. Yes. Two, you see, I come from Kisoko, like Tango Doi comes from.
Yes.
When they were announcing their results the other day, one of Kisoko, I had, because it is Mulindwa, the former spokesperson or something, is the one who presided over the NRM elections of Tororo. And when he called, he said the results of Kisoko sub-county and then Novawich sub-county, that he called, and the returning officer or something, I don't know what that title they give to the one that heads the sub-county, that he said, Mr. Bo has called me and told me he doesn't have transport, and he has given our results to another person. For him, he has gone for burial. They were stating that on TV. Now, but you see, when you look at the now that brings you to the what Charles called the caliber of the people they were giving to manage these elections. It honestly tells you that the intention was not after any credibility of anything. It was not after any fairness of anything.
Yes.
It was after something else that we need to interrogate and see. Why is NRM, why are they, because they don't even use their party money, they use state resources. Why are they pushing the country into this kind of chaos, this kind of mess? Why are they turning the screens that we keep our children looking at as a theater of or nursery school to learn violence? It would absolutely have no use. You see, people, when we talk about that, people think we are lamenting. Some of us, and that is part of what informs us, our approach from the National Economic Empowerment Dialogue. We tell Ugandans that these things are work in progress. They can do their bad things. Let's try to organize. And ours is organized. It is slow because we do not have the money like they have. We do not have an opportunity to grab some resources from the public coffers. We do not have the capacity they have.
Yeah.
And therefore, we just need to organize ourselves so that we know, or we create an opportunity for people to know good from bad. Because if you do not attempt to do, even in your very, very decimal capacity, to do something good, there will never be. Because today, I can ask you, that from the system that is now shaping leadership, because that violence that you see there is now what is creating or midwifing the people who are going to lead the country.
Yes.
The people, it is that system that is going to midwife the people who are going to be the next members of parliament. Now, tomorrow you will find the people talking about our MPs have taken 100 million, our MPs have taken 10 million, our MPs have taken bribes. But you see, they don't look at the system that brought them there.
Yes.
Now, the system that brought them there, or the system that is nourishing them with the billion and so on is the one that is the system that midwifed their entry into there. And therefore, that is how it wants them. Lastly, I want to tell you that with that system,
yes,
you see that system, it is deliberate, by the way, that you,
yes,
Eki,
yes,
who values some integrity, you value some fairness to humanity, you value humanity. You will not go and engage into that. I normally hear people lamenting, saying, you see, nowadays, good people have run away from politics.
Stopped,
good
yes.
people are shying away and they are leaving bad people. It is deliberate. Do it as messy as is, so that the gentlemen of these Ekis of this world avoid it, so that the Vayai get engaged, and therefore the system, it turns the wheel in the direction to which they want.
Yes.
That is absolutely what they...
Thank you very much, Mr. Daka, and I know that Councillor Tugume, you'll have the last word on this. Mr. Charles from Mushana.
Why should he be the one to have the last word?
I'm choosing to give him the last word. I'm thinking from your perspective, okay, if you look at the opposition, are there points, are there things that the opposition ought to learn from what has just transpired? Because I know that NOP is getting into its own. The DP had its own. I think they had 81 who wanted to 81 members who wanted to take part. We had the recently formed PFF. I think from what I was reading, maybe abstaining from doing their own party primaries. There is so much happening within the opposition. What are some of the things that you think opposition ought to see and use to their advantage? Are there things that opposition can learn and do better?
You see, you don't have an opposition. You have enemies. Because I've told you the entire philosophy is that there is, that's why he told you and was referring to some of us, we in the NRM, if it was a Ruhakana Rugunda telling Rumshana, we in the NRM, I would listen. But
you're not listening to Council to go.
The worker, we study. But we live with that arrogance. We are discussing philosophy, the philosophy of these organizations, the philosophy of these political actors. They impact all of us. That's why he is lamenting about someone who conducted elections in his room, in his house, in his compound somewhere, a public election. He's concerned. All of us are not concerned. We are not facing the same. Okay, we are facing different aspects of the same problem.
Yeah.
Different branches of the same tree. But there are those who give a holistic analysis of the entire problem. Why is it behaving like this? Why should it be that in this era, in Mr. Museveni's organization, one can do that, and in a capital city? We tend to want to interrogate it and probably come to some possible reasons why it's possible. Because some of us who joined when we were immediately after the university, we never believed we would witness this. So we can't see it and we are not shocked. We cannot see it and we are not concerned. So if you invite me on a show like this to discuss it, I discuss it from that perspective. It's not that I'm outside. You get, there are a lot of things that are going on. People are wedding, people are marrying, some of those things I don't know. By the way, you can't even afford to live without them. But it's the topic that is on the table, and he is invited. He's from a need that the other one who is not even capable of forming a circle to benefit from PDM, call it an NGO, you go and form one NGO. You go and have one for Makindi, because you have a slum. Why don't you have one or two NGOs to help those people? It's not easy. So we need to learn to respect contributions of other people. And I'm talking about those who pick peaceful means. Because we are capable of being riotous.
All right, Charles.
At least we can force you to kill us. But we will not have peace. That's if you have capacity.
All right.
Now, Mr. Museveni rigged the position of the flag bearer during broad daylight. Tanga Odoi publicly addressed the media and said there is only one form for presidential, for the chairperson of the NRM. The people came for forms. He should have put very complicated conditions to receive the forms. But he said, no, forms are not there. You will come and pick on Friday when you are supposed to return forms, and with 100 signatures per district. Tanga Odoi doesn't know what one goes through to pick 100 signatures in the districts of Uganda. And that commission of theirs does not have capacity to verify them.
All of those ones, all the 100. All right.
If we went to check whether actually they verified the signatures of those whom they say endorsed Mr. Museveni, that commission doesn't have capacity to do it in a day. But you see, they did some bit of drama, and you are doing it for Mr. Museveni. No. I don't want to think all Ugandans are fools. But they just look on and ignore you, and you want to think they are stupid. They aren't. So he rigged that, because he couldn't afford a competitor.
Right.
And yet, there are other layers where you could have thrown out competitors. One at the level of SEC, you could have thrown them out. But you see, they ring-fenced it, and there was a function where they read instruments for him. So if Tanga Odoi did it for you, why do you think he got to do it for others?
All right.
Now, the second one, so did you have a tribunal? The tribunal for those who are contesting the actions of Mr. Museveni and Tanga Odoi in rigging and ring-fencing the position of chairman. Now, the second one is, it's not the electoral commission that rigged. The presiding officer, whether at Pali, Show Village, whatever it is the electoral commission.
The presiding officer, okay.
Yes, it's the electoral commission. You are there as the electoral commission. So if you are there as electoral commission and you are conducting elections in some other person's compound, away from the designated place, it's the electoral commission that has done it. That's it. And there are many ministers who are complaining. Certainly they are not stupid. You have. I know you are entertained by that assistant RDC. You have people who were killed,
yes,
shot, and many were maimed. That tribunal cannot address it. It cannot address.
Is that the state that deals with that?
Because you are dealing with an electoral process. And by the way, this is internal, where you are supposed to get a flag bearer to sell you. But the community that you have shot, killed, and injured, the disputes are not limited to those who are contesting elections. It also involves the public, it involves society. And I think that's why society is discussing it, is appalled. But Uganda belongs to all of us. Some of these people in the NRA, they think Uganda is exclusively their property, and therefore can arrogantly handle it the way they want. They are going to be contested.
Right. Thank you. We'll just have 1 minute, 1 or 2 minutes from the Assistant RCC, Arua City, Mr. Job Matua. Is he still on?
Yeah, I'm very available. My brother Paulo Ekrutieke.
Yes, so we're just having your last word, then we shall have council give his last word.
My last word is that the opposition element should learn from the national resistance movement and they try to organize their primaries, if possible, make it better than that one of NRM. I have not even seen a primary organized in a sub-region by opposition. So it is therefore unfair for opposition people to come on TVs to deceive the country or to just talk about election of NRM. First organize, even if in one district, we shall congratulate and see the best example you are doing. Otherwise, you are correcting what has been done. I have a principle that what I mind is doing the work. The correction can be for others. So NRM has done it. You can now correct what NRM has done. Otherwise, I wish the people of Uganda a wonderful, peaceful country.
All right.
Believe in NRM. Vote President Yoweri Museveni. Vote all our flag bearers. The mighty NRM is continuing forward for another 30 years. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Assistant RCC Arua, that is Job Matua, for your points. I do. 30 says 30 more. Council Craig, you have about for 3 minutes to wrap all of this out. Council Tugume Ronald, I call you Craig. But
yes, now the truth of the matter is that there were unfortunate scenes.
Yes.
In the primaries. I don't know if it is the product of NRM or it's the product of the individuals, because you see NRM has its principles. It has organized an election for its members.
Yes.
So the way members participate in that election, that's why I started by saying that I want to credit this, credit this, credit this. Then I said, but I think this process was mishandled or it was abused by the members. And I called out the people whom I think are responsible. We, the candidates who participated, and the presiding officers. Yes, Mr. Romushana says there is vicarious liability, that the presiding officers' actions are directly taken to be the actions of the Electoral Commission.
Yes.
But I want to correct this, that the Electoral Commission deploys, gets Eke and says you are the presiding officer here, you're representing them. But when you misbehave, it does not mean that the Electoral Commission has misbehaved. You are the individual who has, before them, he asked, do we have guidelines? We had guidelines, we have them, they are in black and white. Whatever those polling officers were supposed to do is known, it is in black and white. So when they don't do that, it does not become the Electoral Commission that has done a mistake. It is that individual, and that's why you see we want individual liability. If they tell you that start elections at 8 at polling station A, and after that tally the results, put them on a DR form and give agents their copies, and you don't do that,
it's your responsibility.
It is not the NRM Electoral Commission which has a problem. It is you, the officer, who has the problem. And I think it is you that should take full responsibility. Of course, it will have an effect on the commission that somebody will contest that result, and probably it might even be nullified. But to close my discussion this evening, there were unfortunate scenes in these elections, and this comes back to us as Ugandans, as NRM members. Elections are not supposed to be a do or die business. You're offering yourself as an option among many others. Let the people decide. Is it you or another person? But when you find people going to extremes of using the army, you bribing, buying waraji, giving money, fighting, hiring goons, I think then there, we as Ugandans and as members of NRM, we are doing the country a disservice. And I want to call to order all members of the party, candidates, because we still have elections. Yes. Tomorrow we have an election.
Yes.
We're going to be carrying a primary for LC5 and mayors and councillors. Please, members, it is an election to choose between one or the other. If you've convinced the people, they will choose you. If you've not, they will not choose you. You don't have to engage in fights, crimes, bribing, murders and all this. No, that is not what they call democracy. So mine is a call. I beckon, I call upon all my fellow NRM members in this election, Yes, the MP race is over. We are still handling the business that went wrong. But these coming elections, please, let's show a better example. Let's especially candidates. This goes especially to candidates because they are the genesis of whatever happens. So please, Ugandans, NRM members, let's conduct ourselves better. And also, we are counting on the adjudicators, the tribunal, and those people who are going to be arbitrating to be credible, to have integrity. Let the right thing be done.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Council. Message coming in from Noelin, tuned in from Zambia. She says it's unfortunate that the party, having done its level best to facilitate a fair democratic process, the very party members who claim to be patriotic are the ones that are making the whole process vulnerable. Much India was cheated, and we continue to demand for justice from the NRM tribunal. Thank you very much. The verse of the day is coming from Psalms. That is the book of Psalm, chapter 33, from verse 10 to 11. The Lord brings the counsel of the nations to nothing. He makes the plans of the people of no effect. The counsel of the Lord stands forever, the plans of his heart to all the generations. It also says, when the foundations are being shaken, what will the righteous do? It's a call for each and every one of us. A big thank you to Mr. Charles Romushana. Thank you very much, Mr. Daka Suman. Thank you very much, Council Tugume Ronald Apuli. And a big thank you to Assistant RCC Job Matua for your invaluable perspectives. Let's pray. Lord, we thank you because we are your children. We listen to you. Sometimes you don't obey, sometimes you don't hear. But Father, we commit each and every aspect of our electoral processes, our candidates, the citizenry into your hands. Lord, we pray that we shall have peaceful elections, both in NRM but also in the opposition political parties. And Lord, may you give wisdom to our leaders. May you protect and keep our panelists safe, and may you keep them well. We thank you for the blessing upon Spirit TV and Spirit FM. In Jesus' mighty name we pray. Amen. Thank you very much for tuning in, and God bless you.
The truth, the lies, and politics. Informative, educative, and analytical. Getting to the real issues that affect an ordinary individual in areas of leadership, governance, social, and economy. The truth, the lies, and politics